Today, we are cracking open a book that's been whispered about in the halls of power for decades. We're talking about Robert Greene's controversial masterpiece, The 48 Laws of Power.
Now, for years, this book has been something of a secret weapon. You'll find it in boardrooms, in political campaigns, really anywhere the dynamics of influence are at play. People have called it cynical, brilliant, dangerous, and absolutely essential. It's a raw, unflinching look at the mechanics of human ambition.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Is this book just a manual for manipulators? Or is it actually a guide to help you understand and defend yourself against the power plays that are happening all around us every single day? Well, that's exactly what we're here to explore.
Look, we can't cover all 48 laws in one go, so we've picked 8 of the most potent strategies to dive into. We're going to group them by theme, just to give you a really clear framework for how these ideas work out in the real world.
So, our first theme is control through chaos. We're going to look at 2 laws that are all about shaking things up, using unpredictability and social connection to keep your opponents completely off balance. All right, Law 17 is all about shattering expectations. The core idea is pretty simple. When people think they know your next move, they feel like they have some control over you. Greene says you have to break that. So, for example, imagine a negotiator who's always calm and reasonable. But then, in one key meeting, they suddenly become emotional, even demanding. This completely throws the other side. They're so busy trying to figure out what just happened that they get worn down. And in that confusion, they're much more likely to make concessions, just to get back to some kind of stability. That right there is the power of keeping them guessing.
Now, this law, it feels a little counterintuitive, right? Our first instinct when we feel threatened is to build walls, to lock ourselves away. But Greene argues that a fortress just paints a huge target on your back. And even worse, it cuts you off from vital information. Think about a CEO who only talks to their VPs. They have no idea what's happening on the ground floor. No clue about the problems or the brilliant ideas bubbling up from below. The truly powerful leader circulates. They're visible, they're accessible, they gather intel from everywhere. The crowd isn't a threat. It's your shield and your intelligence network. Engagement is always your best defense.
So, if our first theme was all about creating chaos on the outside, this next one is about maintaining calm on the inside. It's about strategic detachment, having the emotional control and social smarts to navigate the world you've just unsettled. Okay, this law is a critical warning. Not all opponents are the same. You absolutely cannot use the same tactics on everyone. For instance, you might get away with a sharp comment to a colleague who's pretty forgiving. But if you publicly embarrass someone who's deeply insecure and holds a grudge, well, they might not say anything to your face. Instead, they could spend years subtly sabotaging your career, forgetting to pass on a key message, spreading quiet rumors. Greene calls these people wolves in lamb's clothing. A master strategist knows how to spot them, and more importantly, knows how to avoid making an enemy of them in the first place. And here's the flip side of knowing your opponent. While you're carefully watching everyone else, you yourself remain uncommitted. Imagine 2 managers are competing for a promotion. If you immediately throw your support behind one of them, you've just spent all your political capital. But what if you stay neutral? Suddenly, both of them are coming to you, trying to win you over, offering you information, resources, favors. By refusing to commit to anyone but yourself, you hold all the cards and make them compete for you. So you see how these 2 laws create this incredibly powerful 1-2 punch? Law 19 is all about observation and risk assessment, knowing who to stay away from. And Law 20 is about what you do next, or rather, what you don't do. It's about strategic inaction, keeping your options open. One law protects you from making dangerous enemies, while the other makes you incredibly desirable to potential allies.
Our third theme is maybe the most subtle of them all. It's all about learning how to leverage your opponent's own ego and their own arrogance against them. This one is pure psychological jujitsu. People's egos are a massive blind spot. Let's say you want something from a boss who thinks they're the smartest person in the room. Don't try to outsmart them. No, you play the eager student. You present your idea, but you frame it like, hey, this is just a rough draft. I could really use your brilliant advice on it. By making them feel like your mentor, they become invested in your idea. They'll start to shape it, champion it as their own, and never once suspect that you guided them to your desired outcome the whole time. Their guard is down, and you get exactly what you want.
Okay, surrender. It sounds like the ultimate loss, right? But Greene says it can actually be an incredibly powerful strategic tool. Think about a small startup getting sued by a corporate giant.
Fighting a long, drawn-out legal battle would bankrupt them, even if they're in the right. So, a strategic surrender, settling out of court, might sting, but it allows them to survive. It buys them precious time to grow, to innovate, and maybe, just maybe, to challenge that same giant on their own terms years down the road. This isn't about giving up. It's about picking your battles so you can live to fight another day.
And that brings us to our final theme, the art of applying your power with maximum efficiency and, believe it or not, grace.
This law is all about the raw power of focus. You know, we're always told to be well-rounded, but Greene argues that true power comes from depth, not breadth. So instead of learning 5 languages passively, become the absolute best in the world at one. Or in an office, instead of trying to please everyone, concentrate all your energy on making your direct boss look like a genius. By focusing your forces on that single, critical point of influence, you create a power base that's deep, solid, and way more effective than spreading yourself thin.
I absolutely love this line from the book that sums it all up. Intensity defeats extensity every time. It's just a perfect summary. A deep, focused laser beam of effort will always be more powerful than a broad, scattered light.
And this brings us to the final piece, the perfect courtier, the person who has mastered all these different arts. They're unpredictable, like in Law 17, but they're socially connected, never isolated, just like Law 18 advises. They never commit rashly, following Law 20. And they've mastered seeming a little dumber than their mark, from Law 21, all while concentrating their forces on what truly matters, which is Law 23. They are the ultimate social strategist, moving through the world with such subtlety and grace that you barely even notice their influence. It really is power as an art form.
So, after all that, what's the big takeaway? Well, the central idea of the book is this. The game of power is completely unavoidable. It is a fundamental, constant part of human interaction, whether we like it or not.
And that leaves us with the book's final, challenging question for you. The laws themselves? They're just tools. Knowing them doesn't automatically make you a bad person. It just makes you aware. It gives you the ability to see the game being played around you. And the choice then becomes yours. Will you be a master of that game, or will you be a pawn in someone else's?